What's up everyone? I'm William France. Today we're going to talk about two of my favorite things in the world, cars and photography. Okay, you better believe that I am incredibly passionate about making this video because I actually just recorded this entire video already, went to import it to my computer, and it was out of focus. Why was it out of focus? Because I have a Nikon camera and the autofocus is super loud that I can even pick it up on this boom mic when I don't put it in manual mode. Okay, now that I have that out of my system, let's jump into today's topic. So I'm not the best all-around photographer, but I have been shooting cars for a number of years. It's something I really enjoy. I live in Detroit. The automotive scene here gives me that opportunity. So I wanted to share some of the tips and tricks that I have with you guys today about how to take good photos of cars. So tip number one is have friends with cool cars, or go to a car meetup, go to a Cars and Coffee. Finding a good subject to take photos of is gonna make the photo to begin with. You'll notice that a lot of my cars are photos of Mustangs, and that's because I have a lot of friends who drive Mustangs. And like I said, I live in Detroit. Just having those connections to have a cool subject to take a photo of makes all the difference. Tip number two, location scout. I typically find out where I want to take a photo before I take a photo there. So for example, this photo of the Mustang at night with the bridge and the lights that look really cool in the background, I actually went there quite a while before and took a photo with my iPhone just so I could get an idea of the frame of what it's going to look like at night. Also, when you're taking photos of cars, you might be in the middle of the road at night like I was in this photo, which is not an ideal place to be, so you might have limited time. When you location scout ahead of time, it's going to make it that much easier. When I actually took this photo, the police actually pulled up and we thought we were going to have to shut down and not be able to take the picture I wanted to take. Instead, the police were cool enough to hang out for 10 minutes and let me take the picture and actually block the road for us. That probably won't typically happen, but hey, the cops in Detroit are cool. So shout out Detroit Police Department. Tip number three, lighting. Obviously, lighting is important for all photography, especially if you're shooting in the daytime outside with cars. Sheet metal is like a bendable mirror. So taking pictures of that is going to be either super harsh, you're going to overexpose or underexpose things if you're not careful. If you're not careful. So again, if you have like cloud cover, that's ideal. Avoid that harsh light. You can clean this up a lot later in Lightroom, which I'll talk about in a minute. But overall, having flatter light is overall better, especially with car photography. Another way to completely avoid the light problem is control your own lighting, which is what you can do when we go into the next tip. Tip number four, taking photos of cars at night. Okay, so I have to give a special shout out to Reddit user, one second. Freaky by Nature. You asked me last week how I took this photo. I owe you an explanation. Here it is. So there's a couple really cool ways to take nighttime photography. Nighttime photography with cars specifically. One way is take a long exposure and bring a couple of flashes. So this is an Amazon Basics flash. I picked it up for $20. When that long exposure is going off for 20 seconds or so, you can go around the car and set off the flash over and over again. I have two because the recycle time's not amazing. It's not bad, but it's not amazing. But you can go around the car setting off the flash. And when you have a long exposure, that's going to end up kind of exposing the whole car and you're going to get these really cool results. However, that is not exactly how I took this photo. This photo, I actually used the lights that I'm using right now to do the following. One second. So these are the lights that I use for my YouTube videos, as you can see. I actually took these lights and I kind of scanned around the whole car almost like a photocopier. And when I was done, I went around the back and did the cool light painting that you see here using these LED lights. Again, a long exposure lets you do this and you don't really get picked up by the camera if you're moving quick enough. Okay, I've kind of lost count of what tip we're on. I think we're on tip number five. So tip number five, get creative. You don't always have to take pictures of a car head on or the back of it. In this particular picture, I took a picture of the steering wheel with the Cobra logo just because it was something different. Especially if you're taking photos for an album, change things up, get creative. Kind of self-explanatory, but worth mentioning because, hey, it's always good to do something a little bit different. Final tip, I mentioned this earlier, tip number 6, use Lightroom, especially with car photography. things are going to be overexposed and underexposed. If you're shooting them raw like you should be, you're going to be able to bring out some of those details and some of those darks that are in different areas. In this particular photo and a couple of these photos I'm showing right now, you can see the difference between pre-Lightroom and post-Lightroom and how much detail and how much contrast I was able to bring out of those car photos. Again, I hope this video is helpful, fun. I put it together because I love cars, I love photography. Hopefully this video is in focus and I don't have to shoot this for a third time. Have a good one. See you guys later.